Welcome back to Earth 981. We are going to continue with our adventure on me telling my story of how I started Genesis Enterprises. First, we're going to visit my house, let you know that nothing's really changed over here. We're going to kind of go over the financing just a little bit, just to kind of give you guys some numbers of what we've been doing here lately and over the course of the time, and just kind of give you an idea of our run times and what each line is kind of producing. As you can tell, our ore is doing very well, our bread is doing very well. As we go up the line to like the cars, they're not doing as well, but they're cars, so it's mainly they're doing the drop-offs at that point. But we're having very good frequency times. Most of them are under a minute, so we're doing pretty well there as far as getting products moving back and forth. I probably need to look at jackpot fuel, because that one looks like that one's roughly 11 minutes. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to give you a brief view of Lubbock and what has changed. We're about to expand in a huge way. This is the first stop in that. I decided to reach out to this company right here who owns a ore pit. Their company is called Blue Ore. It's not signifies the color of the ore. The ore is still orange, but they called it Blue Ore. So we're going to end up connecting this to Flathead steel mill, where then we're going to be able to not have to wait as long to fill up our ore supply, because I feel like that was the one supply that was kind of lacking. It also opens up our ability to maybe add coal. I need to recheck coal deposits on the map as far as where we can get coal. We are also going to be hooking up Tommy's tool factory to the Flathead steel mill with trains, just to make everything run in a fast way. We're going to be building, adding on to the Flathead steel mill station, so that we don't have to share tracks. I wasn't worried about tracks or trains being overlapped or whatever, but I'd like our trains, when they do make it to the station, to be able to pull in and not have to wait, because I feel like that holds up productions and train times as far as like picking up and dropping off product. So we're going to go under that assumption. We're going to get Blue Ore online and hooked up. That way we don't have to necessarily worry about it. We are going to come back in and double track everything, just because it does make life a lot simpler as far as running two trains. And if we need more product, then obviously that gets it going. So we did hook up Blue Ore. We are going to hook up Tommy's tool factory. In the beginning here, we're going to be doing a lot of future proofing in some aspects. And what I mean by future proofing is we're going to go through a couple of different facilities that do not have trains and hook them up with trains. I felt like at this time, us having roughly almost $32 million, we had definitely room in our budget to expand. And with that expansion, we're going to be also reaching out to new and better cities. Well, not new cities, I should rephrase that. Not new cities, but we're going to be reaching out with new product to old cities that we've been neglecting some of their products that they've been requesting. So instead of hiring my construction crew like I had been doing recently, I decided, you know what, we're going to give back kind of to the community, and we hired Two Sons Construction to come in and do this little bit of construction for us, as far as to see how well they managed and see if it was better off using them, a local company, instead of having other people come in. We also hired Bobby's construction crew to also come in and help, because this was a big job that was going to require a lot of people and product to build the tracks and come up with the electrical signals and all that other stuff. So we had Bobby's crew on the electrical signals and making sure everything was working electronically, and we had Two Sons Construction over here supplying the bigger demand of building the tracks and building the depots. We did end up going with the bid that Tommy's Tool Factory made. They were the ones that were building our trains this time around. I decided to kind of go with new people. Not that I was dissatisfied with the old ones, but since we're helping these companies build up, I thought it was only fair to give them maybe a chance on this run, since we're exploding in a very big way in these next couple of months with all the geologist readings that I got and the land readings that I got on previous episodes that we have done. So at this current point in time, we have Blue Ore hooked up, we have Tommy's Tool Factory, and we have Flathead Steel Mill hooked up to both of them. We're going to wait on getting the trains at this current point in time. We did head to back to Lubbock because Lubbock is in short supply of tools. So we're going to also be building a station that will run from Tommy's Tool Factory to Jackpot oil refinery, and just for that simple reason, we'll be using oh my bad, it's not Jackpot, it's Black Gold's oil refinery. But we're going to be using that refinery as a staging point for bringing in product. It's close enough to the city and also far enough out to where we can use that kind of as a staging point for products that we're bringing in from the northern part of our little planet area thing that we got going on. In order to do this, we did have to get rid of the depot and the train tracks. That's a future problem because we are going to have to add another train to the coal run after bringing on Blue Ore, just for the simple fact of now we are really amping up our ore production. So to kind of match it, we're going to need to help them, or get the help from maybe Collins Coal Mine. I think Edgar's ore pit, we have enough people or enough trains going on that line. It's just, yeah, we're going to have to look around, see if we can find maybe a closer coal pit or a closer coal mine. I apologize. But right now I wanted to build the track that was going to be going from Tommy's Tool Factory to Lubbock. I wanted to build it closer to the train tracks that we had already had established, just for this to help us logistically. At this point, I was kind of questioning if I should build another station. I did decide to go around this station, but I may come back in the future and just kind of build a station and have it go through. Because there's really no reason to have the station be built up, just because that's not something that we're going to be, using. I don't know. Hopefully I'm making sense. So as we build across here, we're making sure that the track is where it needs to go, and it's going to work as far as like keeping up the speed of the train. This was also going to be our chance to add to our oil industry as far as Lubbock's concerned. I had been talking to AJ. He was happy with the trucks. Obviously, trucks can only do so much, and there's a lot of upgrading that has been done over time to keep the trucks kind of going and being able to carry as much as possible. With that being said, the issue I was having with adding a train line to this oil refinery area with Black Gold's oil refinery was the distance between all of the refineries and where we were getting the oil from. So that was kind of the one thing I was struggling with, is all that kind of stuff. AJ did let us know that he did find more oil just outside of Amarillo. So we're like, you know what, we'll bring that online. Maybe we can keep the trucks on the original one and then just have this one be oil. But we did end up deciding to kind of future-proof and do a double train run, just for the simple fact of it'll be easier. We need more raw oil than refined oil to make the fuel anyway, and like I said, the two refineries were very close to each other, so it was just kind of one of those things that we should just bite the bullet. It will also help with our maintenance costs because we need more trucks to transport it than anything. Since this is a main artery from Amarillo to Lubbock that eventually one day I would like to upgrade and maybe put, a bus lane on, because one, we're really close to each other, so it's like a 20-minute trip to Amarillo to Lubbock. So I didn't want I didn't want to go through the road, just for the simple fact of you'd have train tracks, and then when we do eventually go ahead and bite the bullet and upgrade this road, I didn't want to have to come back over and just like either do what I'm doing now. So we bit the bullet and we're like, okay, we're going to automatically do this. Now with this road, I didn't mind having a train crossing because this isn't a main artery. This is just people going to work to the oil field and coming back, so we could handle that. And plus there was another way into AJ's oil well that was going to Lubbock, and that's usually where most of his customers most of his workers came from. His customers obviously come from Lubbock because that's where Black Gold's at. So like I said, I wasn't really concerned about that, because one, we could get rid of this road. AJ could get rid of this road if he wanted to, and it wouldn't affect anything. If he does have workers from Amarillo, they'd probably be upset about that, but that wasn't our main concern. So as we got all the tracks built, all the stations built, we did need to come through and start adding signals. We got, once again, Bobby's construction crew over here after they're done in Toulouse to put in signals. They did such a fantastic job up there that I thought, you know what, we might as well keep using them. They're doing great. It provides business help to them, and they get paid, we get paid. Well, eventually we'll get paid once we officially set up this line. I didn't do it this time. It's in the works. We're talking to our geologist crew and whatnot to get that fixed and set up, just because it is a long run, but we're also trying to get Lubbock in building their industry as far as what they sell in tools built up. So we're going to start with one train, one track for right now, and then there's room obviously for improvement as far as maybe another station or something like that, because the tool run to Lubbock from Tommy's Tool Shop does share the track going from the Flathead steel mill to Tommy's Tool Shop. So that's something, it's not 100% future proof, but it is enough future proof to where this will work effectively and efficiently. As Two Sons Construction got their the depot finally built and the tracks laid, there's another Bobby's construction crew over here doing the signals. They did a beautiful job. It looks great. All the signals look like they're in the right spots. We are about to get rid of our trucks from AJ's oil refinery, going to Black Gold's fuel refinery, so that is in the works. We are going to also get rid of the Flathead truck drivers as well. We did also need another truck or train depot over here, so once again, Two Sons drove down to Lubbock. Actually, I'm pretty sure they stayed in Amarillo. It's a lot closer. Stayed in Amarillo, got that built through great expense. It's looking pretty great. We are talking and working with a few businesses that we are bringing online in the next few months that are going to help with Lubbock's growth, and we are talking with geologists to get the line set up as far as getting it delivered to Amarillo. So there is huge projects in the works. We just got to get the budgeting and the quotes set up on how much it's going to cost us and what is the most efficient way to get each product to and from there. As you can see here, we are pretty much broke. I did decide to cut out a few things that no one really cares about, but now you can see the logistics of it working. We got Tommy's steel mill, Flathead steel mill hooked up, and the tool shop hooked up, along with Blue Ore online with the trains. These trains are a little bit future proof, just for we're going to have to build up what they supply. What's going to help build up what they supply is supplying this to more cities. So we're going to have to look around the map a little bit and start talking about logistics to get Tommy's Tool Factory up and going, because that is a very lucrative business here in this side of the world. And then we also have the trains going for AJ's oil well. We didn't have enough money to buy 2 trains to do the oil well, so we put this train on the original run, just because that oil well was already kind of elevated and producing oil. It'd take a minute for AJ's second oil well to get going and produce the oil that is already being asked of it. So we're going to wait for our money to kind of come back up, because we did crush it with the trains. I believe we spent about, I think it was about 15 to 18 million on trains, as long with their cars, trains, everything like that. And the trains that we bought were also dependent on the distance that they had to travel, and if they were going to be going up hills. Like this one right here is a very low standard train, but it's only going about 10 miles. So I didn't feel like it needed to be something that was heavy duty, and it doesn't really go up any hills. So there's that. And once Blue Ore came online, it's not producing to the max, but at the same time, with this train being online, we are really depositing iron ore into Flathead right now, which, like I said, begs the question of one day we're going to have to figure out exactly what we need to do with coal. And this is me being able to actually finally buy a train for Tommy's Tool Shop to Lubbock. It is going to take a few months for us to get this line also once again kind of set up because of the distance that is going to be traveled. And then also getting it set up on the Lubbock side as far as getting cars and Tommy finishing building his shop. He did decide to expand into Lubbock, so it is going to be another Tommy's Tool Shop. It's just going to be a little bit further away than the original, which is a sign of good business. So, and then since we did get rid of the cars we didn't need to expand the truck drop-off point, because instead of them dropping off oil, we're just going to be sitting here dropping off tools. And like I said, it was going to take a little bit of time to get this line set up, but we're hoping that it shouldn't be too much longer, and we'll definitely be getting a huge profit from this. As you can see at the factory, we're already starting to get some tools put on the train line for the next pickup, which should be here pretty shortly. I did duplicate the original oil well train off of AJ's oil well 1. We did make this one a little bit still dark, but just gray, for the simple fact of we wanted the same amount of oil being dropped off from both locations. It is going to take this oil well a little bit of time to come online. It takes them about 2 or 3 months to get that kind of that they need to start producing. But as you can see there's the Lubbock tool train coming in. It is kind of a long route, and that we are sharing the line right now as far as tools or the steel. So it does have a little bit of a pause and everything like that as we wait for trains to get out of the way. But as of right now, I don't think that that's necessarily a big deal, just for the simple fact of we're able to pull in maybe a little bit more tools, waiting there a little bit longer. And as you can tell underneath the picture there, we are losing money at this current point in time. We have ran it, I want to say once, but at that current point in time, we're waiting for the cars to be delivered, so Tommy didn't want to load the train and have products sitting at the car depot, car parking, cargo parking lot area. It may be getting damaged or something like that. So this is its first. It isn't full, but this is pretty much about as full as it's going to be for a while, until Lubbock's industry starts expanding, which eventually it does, and it does start requiring a lot more tools. So we are going to have to figure out how to get more product there into Flathead steel mill in order to get this to keep his business going, or at least being able to expand and possibly reaching multiple cities. As we sit here and we're watching all the lines and I was pretty happy, and I was like, you know what, we need this to be a little bit better. And I'm not going to lie, I severely shot myself in the foot. It did take me a couple of years. I was hoping that it'd slim out and figure itself out, like most of the lines that I do end up doing, but this one is a huge mistake, and I regret doing it. So we did have the money available to us. My advisors didn't think that there was a problem with this, as you can tell right about now, the problem. So on this one line, we have, it is to refinery to the jackpot or black gold fuel stop. Yeah, fuel stop. So now we have 30, at least 30 vehicles. We might even have 36 vehicles on this. We are causing them to up production, which is a good thing, because as you can tell there on the car drop off point, there is no more fuel. So even with 2 trains, we're bringing in the dough. So, but with that being said, you can see the kind of issue as far as everything, and it's causing us not to be able to pick up tools, which is causing us to just, yeah, it's a bad problem. And now you can kind of see it at the black gold fuel refinery. We have a huge line over there. So this was probably one of my biggest regrets as far as the whole time of doing Genesis Enterprises, that we were just they told me this was a good idea. Obviously you can see this is a bad idea. So this will, I just have to say, this will be fixed. It's a future project and this will be fixed, but I can't stress that enough. So just enjoy the mistakes I made, and hopefully you guys can learn from my mistakes and not repeat them. But yeah, don't put 36 cars on a line and have it designed this way, because it's bad. Anybody who decides to open a enterprise or transport company, I did at the time have high hopes that this would kind of sort itself out. This is kind of when I get the idea to fix it, or at least attempt to fix it. It doesn't fix it just yet, but this is the start of me fixing it. We will be able to use this stuff in a later date and time that will make this all beneficial and look much better. But as you can tell, I did end up getting an idea to fix this problem that will involve shortening the time responses as far as like how long they wait for fuel or to be loaded. Like I said, that was the attempt to kind of fix it so that we didn't have this huge laundry list of a truck line just sitting here not making any money. Lubbock, for the time being, we started getting businesses to open up that did desire bread. It was in the works already. I had my geologist looking at it, and kind of getting blueprints and ground readings, and we will be showing that at a later date as far as what's in the works for that. But here was the third idea after making the depot bigger, was to get rid of vehicles. Before we sold them, obviously they dropped off at Black Gold oil fuel refinery. So that was what the money was for, if you saw that. I did decide to add another line, and I kind of reduplicated my mistakes that I made as far as that was concerned. Like I said, I'm not perfect, but this is kind of what eventually leads to the perfect way to set up this line and have the most cost-effective and profitable lines. It just, at this current point in time, was not done properly. So you live and learn, and this just was one of those times that you had to learn the lesson the hard way, and luckily it didn't really hurt us too terribly bad as far as making money, because we did a pretty good job. It was just how I did it. So enjoy mistake number 2 on the line, and zero ways to fix it at this current point in time. So yeah, it was good times, man. But you gotta make your mistakes. It's how you grow. At this time, we're also letting the tool production kind of get away from us, and not necessarily the production, but the drop off. We only did have 2 vehicles on the line. It was more of meant to get it established, get maybe some other companies opening up that were going to use Tommy's tool shed to get tools that they would then sell at their companies. So we're going to let that one go. I'd like to introduce you to our newest enterprise that we are bringing into the Genesis family. This is okay, while I'm moving around, coffee is CC's Coffee Farm and Coffee Refinery. It's both called CC's. She owns both of it. Very nice individual. Teo from the alcohol distillery that we use a little bit to the east, she opened and financed Teo's alcohol. She has Teo's whiskey, and now she has Teo's alcohol. She's using Boxer's farm to pull in wheat to make her alcohol. So we got 2 farm products. We're going to end up boating them to Genesis Bread, and that's going to be the future way we go get food and kind of maybe hopefully develop the rest of this region out a little bit. And the idea also going along with that is that with Genesis Bread, when you bring in either whiskey, alcohol, or the coffee beans, it turns into 2 bread. So each one of those items becomes 2 units of food. So we're going to be using that to one, I believe, truck to Bridgeport. The other one eventually go to Bridgeport, and then also eventually go to Lubbock. Once we kind of get this line established, it is going to take a while just because we are going to end up boating it. I feel like there's also maybe Midland that's over here that needs bread and also fuel. I do have an idea for that, but at this current point in time, one problem and one expansion at a time. And right now is more, I felt like getting CC's coffee and Teo's alcohol and Boxer's farm kind of online, because I didn't want them to close. There was talk of them maybe closing down just because they weren't able to get business. So I want to make sure that we handled that and got them knowing that, hey, people are interested, people need their product, and to continue producing, farming, and making. Obviously, Teo didn't have to worry about this because this was a new distillery that she was making anyway, and she kind of made it on the pretenses of us asking her to, you know, expand out there to help us out. So that was where Teo's alcohol distillery came from. We did make a couple of mistakes as far as this food line goes. Teo's whiskey or Teo's alcohol on this one, we weren't providing enough bread from, or enough wheat from Boxer's farm. We did have to tell Boxer that, hey, we need these pastures to, we have to landscape these pastures up, just because we needed somewhere to be able to put our train station. If we put it anywhere else, it wasn't going to be close enough to get local trucks to do it if we used like forklifts and whatnot. But we finally got those hooked up. I did double line it just for, we are going to need it. It's a 2-to-1 ratio as far as bread to alcohol goes, or wheat to alcohol goes, my bad. So we're going to need the extra pack of wheat coming in just to make this kind of somewhat beneficial to us. And we had, once again, this was help to Two Sons Construction and Bobby's construction crew doing the lights and all that kind of fun jazz. We had this line very much built, established. I felt like it was going to be a very good, profitable line. It was just making sure we had enough trains and cars and whatchamacallit going through each of the ports. The next problem that I ran into is the way I had Two Sons build out for CC's coffee and coffee refinery was the wrong way. So that was something that I had to come back in with geologists and our construction advisors to figure out. Once again, the coffee bean to the refined coffee bean is a 2-to-1 ratio. So we're in the same boat as far as the wheat and alcohol went. So we're going to need multiple trains on that line. And eventually I'll kind of show you what I did as far as goofed up here. So I had one train going from the farm to the refinery, and then bringing back the refined goods, and then having a train go from the farm to the dock. I would like you to know it took me about 3 years to figure that out, and we ended up fixing it. But we did have to build 2 train depots, one of them by Boxer's farm, because we weren't really going to go past this point as far as a train line, so I felt comfortable putting the depot right there. And as we got that set up, we flipped over to this nightmare. As you can tell, my problems haven't gotten any simpler over here on AJ and black gold fuel. So we're kind of figuring that out. We're letting some lines run. We're letting the boat line run as far as CC's coffee and Teo's alcohol. We did get that set up. I do have still problems running that. We did fix it. So instead of it going from the dock and stopping at the coffee farm, we have it going from the dock to the refinery, which is back here. And I started asking questions as far to my construction crews and advisors and whatnot, and they're like, why are we going so far and going way out of the way for everything? And they're like, that's an excellent question. Someone must have misread something. So that being said, we did hop on that and get that sorted. I don't think we sorted it out this instant, but we did get that sorted as far as what's what. But this was also kind of what I was talking about as far as going from the coffee farm to the coffee refinery. You can kind of see one train in the blue line is going to the coffee farm, and that's supposed to be taking the refined coffee beans to the dock. As you can tell, it's on the loading station, so this is something that, once again, we made a problem, and I was too busy trying to get everything to make sure the routes were running correctly to CC's coffee farm and refinery. As you can tell here, once again, we're trying to get the line set up and trying to get the boats spread out to where it makes sense. There's enough things being loaded. Once again, we're trying to repeat what we did with Teo's Whiskey and Napoleon Snowflake to where we get paid every way, especially with the boats because they're expensive. Just so we're not waiting, I felt like it was a smart idea to invest in another dock along with I don't know if I did it just yet, but I do invest in another dock house that just helps with the overall storage of our product. Yeah, there we go. Alright, that's what I thought I did. So we got another dock house, we got another dock, and then we're going to come down to the line and make sure that the boats are going to dock 2. So we have like the Napoleon and Snowflake farm and Teo's Whiskey going to one dock, and then we have Teo's Alcohol and CC's coffee refinery going to the next dock. We should be able to really overload Genesis bread to the point where we should be able to supply all this towns or cities, whatever, in this local region with food. That's the overall goal anyway. But yeah, it's not doing too bad, and don't pay attention to the lines being not named and colored right. Like I said, I was just trying to get through some stuff real quick. And this is how we changed it. So as you can see, we have a line going from the coffee bean refinery underneath the little hill there and directly to the dock. So I did some switching around and we made that look a lot better. We talked to our geologist and whatnot, and it was just we needed to get that fixed. So we had that now going in and out. We're still working on getting the wheat product up. I think once we get the supply going, maybe, because I think we're maybe right now oversupplying Genesis bread, and they're like, yo, we don't need any more. So we're gonna start focusing on looking at towns and getting them bread, and hopefully building the bread industry, or at least the food industry, to the point of we will be in a better place. And then coming over here to Lubbock, you can kind of see it does look a little bit better. Mind you, we are in slow motion, normal speed, whatever. But I have a line going from that truck depot to the next truck depot, dropping off and then coming back, and then going from the fuel refinery into Lubbock. that seems to have helped out. Maybe I need to take a few more cars away from the fuel refinery, because I don't know if we're able to keep up. It is a 1-to-1 ratio. Then kind of looking at an overall view of the map and kind of seeing what I'm going with. We do have plans as far as to do bus routes and stuff like that. We're just working with the towns. I wanted to get some of these factories taken online as far as trains going, just for the simple fact of growth and forward thinking, if that makes sense. The next place that we're going to be kind of hitting as far as like an idea is maybe getting tools into Charleston. We need to get bread into Bridgeport, so maybe having a train go from Genesis to Bridgeport. This is a slag port. If you look down here, there's a place that accepts slag. You have Midland, who needs fuel, and then you also have Colorado Springs, who also needs fuel. So if we can get the slag there, the ideas of getting product are then bumped up. We could then take the sand over here so that Glendale gets some construction materials. We also have El Paso up here that also needs fuel and tools. So we could then start bridging, maybe Tommy's maybe using an airplane and taking tools over there. We really just kind of have to talk to kind of a few people and figure out what would be the best route as far as what we should take. But Genesis bread is definitely going to be the kind of the cornerstone of what we're going to be doing here. We have a lot of different farms supplying this, and we have like a good route going as far as like how we're getting bread or food. I'll call it food. It's just a very good idea as far as everything's concerned. So we just have to figure out how to supply everything. And we did mislabel our dock, and it ended up being a passenger dock, so we need to go in there and delete the benches and whatnot, and then it'll be a cargo dock. But that was the only defining features, that we put benches in instead. Alright, now looking back at Lubbock and winding this chapter down, we kind of missed moving and whatnot. The city of Lubbock has grown. Where my house used to be is the apartment complexes and kind of what you see there. So things are looking different. We're growing, we're expanding, we're becoming much more a city instead of a town. Very much time to start thinking about upgrading and becoming a full transportation network, as far as building a bus city circuit that goes to all of our cities. This is now where we moved into. It's a nice cozy little 3-story house. Nothing too fancy, not looking to put my name anywhere, but we're kind of going over the books, the records, just to kind of give you an idea of what's losing us money as far as our runs go. A few of the fuel lines, they're not losing too much money, roughly $78,000. Our train lines, as far as what we recently put, are losing a lot of money, so we're going to have to tweak that. But for right now, we're going to call it a chapter, and stay tuned, and I'll see you guys next time.